in response to China's growing military prowess, Australia now has unveiled a strategic review of its defense forces. It's the biggest since World War II. The review will enhance its long-range strike capabilities, and as a result of China's escalating military might and assertion of sovereignty, especially over the South China Sea, the Australian military has now stepped up its focus on protecting its borders.
We confront the most challenging strategic circumstances since the Second World War, both in our region and indeed around the world. That's why we're investing in our capabilities and we're investing in our relationships to build a more secure Australia and a more stable and prosperous region. The scale and significance of the Defence Strategic Review and my government's response shows the strength of our determination to keep Australians safe. This represents a document for today and tomorrow. It is the most significant work that's been done since the Second World War, looking in a comprehensive way at what is needed. It demonstrates that in a world where challenges to our national security are always evolving, we cannot fall back on old assumptions. We must build and strengthen our security by seeking to shape the future rather than waiting for the future to shape us.
What I want to emphasize is that China has always pursued a defensive national defense policy. We are committed to maintaining peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific and the world, and we do not pose a threat to any country. We hope that some countries would stop using China as an excuse to boost its military and do not hype up baseless Chinese threat theories.
Now, the review by Australia looks at the billions of dollars that are allocated by previous administrations to the defence forces. Australia has mentioned that the build-up was occurring without any transparency to the Indo-Pacific region of China's strategic intent. So what exactly has Australia done? They have decided to refocus its army on deterring foes away. They haven't mentioned China, but the indication is clear. The top focus on coastal defence along the northern shore is something that is going to be now part of their new policy. There's lesser infantry vehicles to be purchased. Longer range strike capability in defence equipment is what the focus is going to be on. Australian forces are also going to be acquiring missiles to work on air and land. That's how the new policy has been shaped up. What exactly is the objective of that? Australia is going to develop the ability to strike from air, land and sea. There are more troops that are going to be recruited for all of these three forces as per the new review. Local production of weapons is also going to improve. There is going to be more personnel that is going to be in shipyards to guard sea routes. That's something that is very, very specific to the South China Sea region and to the Indo-Pacific region. The short-range howitzer artillery systems are going to be scrapped. They are now going to be focusing on more modern, on newer technology. Now, the Australian review also suggests that they need to make deeper ties with other countries, with their allies. This is where India comes in. The Australian defence reforms have decided to talk of improving its ties, especially with India, with Japan, because these are the two countries where China has been something of a menace, so to say, as far as the Indo-Pacific region goes. The threat of conflict in Japan and India poses a threat for Australia as well. That is something that this review has taken into account, and that is where it impacts India. Submarines are going to be acquired via the AUKUS, which includes Australia, UK and United States for the region. Remember, these are also part of the Quad, which Japan and India are part of. So that is how we are going to be seeing a greater cooperation between all of these countries to ensure that China and its expansionist agenda is kept at bay. While we're speaking of China and India, we do have an issue as far as the line of actual control is concerned. There have been military-level talks that are going on between the two countries. Several rounds have happened so far. The latest one, the 18th round, just took place 2 days ago. Frank and in-depth talks were held between the two parties in the two friction areas, is what we're now learning. This comes just days ahead of the first visit by the Chinese defense minister to the national capital here in India. Both nations agreed that restoring peace on the border areas would improve bilateral relations. It would enable progress in recently strained relations. New Delhi issued a statement on the two countries' fruitful exchange of views. China's foreign ministry as well came out and said that according to common understanding of the leaders of both countries, the two sides held in-depth exchange of views on expediting the resolution of relevant issues. What that means is there has been no breakthrough as far as two particular points in the line of actual control is concerned. Now remember, 4 areas disengagement has already happened. There are buffer zones that are set up, but the latest statements suggest that the two sides are yet to speak about what exactly happens in Demchok and Depsang. That is why the defense ministers' meeting in 2 days from now in the national capital here in Delhi is going to be even more in focus. Akash, my colleague, getting us more details of what to expect from this SCO defense ministers' meeting. Yes, Akash.
Well, this was the 18th round of commander-level talks between India and China, and frankly speaking, nothing concrete has come out. Last time we saw in December 2022, we had a last meeting, and this time on 23rd April, this meeting happened between the core commanders. At this point in time, this was very important because in days to come, India is going to host SCO defense ministers meet and China is going to take part in it. In fact, in this particular meeting, we are expecting bilaterals between defense minister of India and China, and everyone is hopeful about this meeting. But as far as this commander level talk is concerned, so nothing concrete has come out. In fact, last time we saw progress in September 2022 where both the sides agreed for de-escalation on patrol point 15. But at this point in time, we have a number of points where both the sides are expecting de-escalation, but nothing concrete is coming out from the commander level talks. And this time, everyone is hopeful for this SCO meeting.